Hey, I want to talk to you about creating your measurement marketing strategy with AI. But before we get started, I want to talk to you about the measurement marketing framework, if you're unfamiliar, just to walk you through the steps. So you can see there's a plan, build, and the launch phase. This can take anywhere from 30 days to 90 days to accomplish, depending on how sophisticated you are and how many times you've done this. But there's a pretty distinct way that measurement marketing works. And then instead of marketing in the blind, not knowing what you're going to do or what the results are going to be, you're going to end up marketing reliably that grows your revenue and profits. So how do we do that? Well, first you need to plan. You need a planning step, and that involves asking the right questions. The questions are things like, what results do you expect and how are you going to be getting those results? Then we need to find information. Which behaviors do we need to collect, and where do we want to store those if we want to be able to answer those questions? Finally, actions. What actions will we take if the answer is good? What actions will we take if the answer is bad? Once we have our plan in place, we can start to build it out. What are the results that we're expecting to have in place? How many users are asking, considering, and transacting? Traffic. Who is sending the traffic? What type of traffic is it? And why are they sending it? Then we get into the story where we take our traffic and our results, we stitch them together to come up with the story of what actually happened. Then finally, we get to go into our launch phase. And when we launch, we listen. Look for the story of the user behaviors and give performance benchmarks. Then we're going to forecast. We're going to start marketing forward by saying, is this working as we planned it? And then finally, we're going to optimize, which is where you set up your setup so you can tie your traffic and results together and stitch together that story. And so that is the measurement marketing framework. You might have seen it before, but this might be a good refresher. But what really becomes magical is when we take this framework and we use some other tools like AI in order to make this easier. Now, I mentioned earlier, this can take you 30 to 90 days, depending on sophistication, how many times you've done it. But I think that with AI, there's some ways that you can get this done even faster than you might have thought by giving it the right inputs and having it know what your strategy is. And so these resources are available at MeasureU in our community, and I want to show you how to use them to your advantage to get a head start. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create your measurement marketing strategy with AI. And so here's how we're going to do it. First of all, we are inside of MeasureU in our community. And the first thing you want to do is get the measurement marketing framework, which is in our resources toolbox. And when you open that up, you'll have the entire framework at your fingertips. Now, this is a pretty comprehensive multi-page PDF that shows you pretty much everything you need with examples. Now, the examples are key because we're going to use this to train the AI models as to what the measurement marketing framework is. So I've already taken the liberty of uploading that PDF, and I'd say, please learn the measurement marketing framework from this document. Okay, so now they're going to learn it, they're going to ingest it, and they're going to understand what it is. Okay, so they're summarizing it. They understand basically the stuff that I just told you, right? That's what they understand here. So I'm going to let this thing finish, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to start my next prompt, which is going to say, tell me the difference between measurement marketing and marketing measurement. Okay, let's see if this can do it. Okay, that looks like it's almost done. And we're going to go through here. Okay, great question. The difference between measurement marketing is subtle, but a significant different practice, especially when it comes to how to strategically use your data. Measurement marketing, proactive and strategic. Marketing, measurement, reactive, and tactical. This is what I like to see. So if AI has never been wrong in the history of the world, they know that we are proactive with measurement marketing, and that's true. Basically, measurement marketing means you start with the result, and then you figure out what marketing to do to achieve that result in the best way. Marketing measurement is you do a bunch of marketing, and then you try to figure out numbers to justify what you just did. As you can probably imagine, this is the one that's the least effective, and it's the one that gets us into trouble. It's what gives marketers a bad name, and so make sure you pay attention to it. So there's even like a basically built-in afterthought amazing. So they really understand, and they're asking me if they want a LinkedIn post. Maybe I do, right? But I'm going to do that later. I'm trying to record this workshop for you to see what's going. So we already have some understanding here as to the benefits of measurement marketing, but that's not what we're using AI to validate what we're doing. Obviously, you see some value in it. That's why you're watching this video. What we want to do is we want to help you come up with your strategy, okay? So how do you create your strategy for your business? Now, I want to bring you to some other resources inside of our toolbox. So we have a lot of stuff in here. If you're part of our community, it's all included in there. And this next one is a customer journey audit. So you can say, what's your customer journey? Now, if you look in here, this customer journey audit has all kinds of stuff. It's like your questions, information, and actions that we just talked about. This is an example of it where you can put yours in there. Now, if you don't know what to put in there yet, you're not sure, you're like, hey, Jeff's talking about this, but I still don't understand what questions to ask. That's what we're going to be using AI for. So we're going to train AI based on this. So I'm going to say right here, this is the example. So I'm going to go back to my ChatGPT. Please learn the following examples of QIA. Okay, so that's going to be ingesting that. And you can see there's other tabs here. What is your ACT plan? That's the next phase of what we're talking about here. Eyes in the journey. If you're not sure about how to set things up, this is like pretty much how you set this thing up in Google Tag Manager, which we're going to see if they can help us generate code in just a little bit here. What tags are going to be put in place? So you have all the stuff you need in these two templates. And that's just where we're, if you're like, okay, well, what does he mean by ACT? We have a PDF walking through what ACT means. It's a 20-plus page PDF talking about how do you make this plan for yourself. So you can feed that into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever you want to be using in order to make that happen. And then finally, the traffic story and other things like where are your users coming from? These are all available as part of the measurement marketing framework inside of our community. So if you're a community member, you have access to this. If you're not a community member, you might as well get into there at MeasureU.com/community to check it out, because this is all there waiting for you to use it and to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. So we've ingested this now, and they're giving us examples of what's happening here. Okay, so now let's say, can you please create examples for my client? My client is a roofing company in San Antonio, Texas, who wants to use paid ads search specifically to get the cheapest leads possible. But right now, nothing is working. Okay, let's see what happens here. Here's a tailored set of Kia examples. So we call this QIA Kia. And so the information being collected, a number of thank you page views after the leads thing, call tracking conversions. I like that. That's really nice. So we can take this and we can go back into the worksheet. Let's make a copy of this thing for us. And let's see if we can get to our own Kia answers. Now, of course, as I say with everything, okay, so we have the answers in here that they're giving us. Now, actions to take, if the cost per lead is a certain amount, then do this versus that. And so you're basically coming up with your own version of this based on the framework and based on what ChatGPT is telling you. Now, this is where the trust but verify step is really important. Is this really what you want to be tracking? Is this what's good for your business, or is this something that's not? Are you trusting it blindly? Would you do something differently if your cost per lead is less than $50? Would you do something differently? Then yes. If it's greater than, would you pause the ads? You have to make sure that you agree with this, that this is the actions that you'd want to take in place. Now, the good news is that they're scouring the entire internet, coming up with ideas for what you should track. And my extensive experience doing lead gen for home improvement, these are actually pretty similar to actions that I would take. They probably learned this from my own blog or something like that, because this is the same thing I would do, right? If there's no leads, check that it's not broken. If the cost per lead is too high, then you pause or you rewrite them. And if it's doing well, just increase the budget. That's pretty standard for how you'd run ads and how you'd make things happen. And this is what they're telling us to do. Okay, so they're giving us conversion rates. They're giving us a lot of information that you can use to fill this thing out. Now, one of the biggest steps, one of the biggest reasons why people get paralyzed with doing anything when it comes to strategy is that they're not really sure if the numbers are going to be right. Now, you don't have to worry about coming up with the right numbers. You can have ChatGPT or Gemini come up with these numbers for you, and then you can feed it back in there, and you can make the decision if they're right or wrong, or bring them up to your company. But at least you are now starting from a position of strength, because you're not having to go figure this thing out. What I've found over the years is that if all your effort is going into the brain power of figuring out what you want to track or figuring out how to track it, none of the brain power goes into strategy, and you just sort of accept what's there. This is allowing you to put your brain into the strategy mode and be the person who makes that decision ultimately as a result of what you're seeing. And that's where it gets to be really cool. So that's an example for you of how to pull this thing together. So we're using AI to make this happen. Now this video, it's already getting to be a little bit long, so I don't want to spend any more time on the Kia portion of it. But what about things like, eyes on your journey, the tagging piece? Okay, so let's just see if we can get this in place to say, now we want to do eyes on the journey. Can you help us create a matrix of things to track like this one, this example? Okay, so we're putting that on there and we're gonna see if it can create this for us. Now it's probably gonna output, it's in a matrix, that's cool. So it's giving us it in a matrix, bam. Like this is something we should be able to copy as we go through right here. Wow, pretty cool, huh? So you can see, are they taking exactly from what we're doing or are they not? Ultimately, you might want to talk to our MeasureU instructors, but I would say that the examples we give are pretty standard examples, and you can see that we're tracking all these different items in place, and it's giving you a lot of what you need. And then the next thing you want to do, see, good enough to get going? That's cool. This is using our actual this is our actual language. It's pretty cool how they've learned that, how ChatGPT understands how we talk. This GETGG is proprietary to MeasureU. Like we're the only ones that talk about that, and they're saying go ahead and use that. Now the next thing is, can you create the Google Tag Manager data layer code to develop these tags and triggers in the data. Yeah, okay. Let's just see what it says here. So they're actually creating the whole Google Analytic or the Google Tag Manager data pushes. Pretty cool, huh? These are the push elements. This is how you set it up as a trigger. If it pays, and this is giving examples. You're going to want to put your own examples in there. This is the trigger. This is the introduced. You're setting a timer. It's telling you exactly how to do it. You just go into Google Tag Manager and you set this thing up. This is really challenging if you don't have the knowledge, if you don't have the support of the MeasureU community. But this part now becomes knowledge that you have, and then you just have to figure out how to implement it. The good news is that if you're part of MeasureU in our community, we have courses that teach you how to do this thing. We have our support in our accelerator program that will be live, where you can talk to somebody and say, hey, am I doing this right? That costs less per month than an hour of a consultant. So if you're paying $200 an hour for a consultant, you get a whole month of live calls with our team happening multiple times a week, right there, where you can ask anything and get this thing implemented by an expert at your side, and you can do it all inside of MeasureU. So I would recommend that you check out our MeasureU.com website and either join the Academy Insiders if you just want courses, or the Accelerator if you want courses plus live support to make that happen. It is, like I said, it's less than the cost of an hour of a high-end consultant, yet you get a whole month of it, and you get many more opportunities to talk to our team. And so these are the things that you need in place. If this doesn't make sense to you, but you want to do it, then I would go ahead and join the Accelerator to make that happen. Now you can see here's the tags we're planning. This is all the different sequences that are happening. You can fill this thing out as you can imagine. You can say, okay, well, here's the tags. Can you put it into this matrix? So let's just have them do that. Can you put these? So now they know what the table is, and we're going to have them fill it out, okay? Boom. Super cool, isn't it? They're telling us what we need to do and all the different pieces that are in place. Now, yes, you have to implement this thing, but honestly, this just did what would have been the first 30 days of your planning. It's doing it right now. It's doing the next 30 days right now. And then the React, you still need 30 days to do that, but you can reduce your time significantly by using AI. Have to caveat this. I'm not saying this is right, but I'm saying this is probably 80 to 90% of the way there. You do need to verify this. You need to trust but verify. You would want to do that with either you want to use a support at MeasureU to make this happen, or talk to a consultant to make sure you're doing it right, or take one of our courses, or take a tutorial. But you need to make sure that you're doing this right, because if you don't do this right and you put it on your site, it could break things. But that's the reason why education companies like ours exist, because we want to make sure you get it right, and we are there standing by to make it happen. So that's the way that you can get certainty, is by working with us or hiring a consultant, somebody who's done this before. But this is the way that you're going to get those results. And honestly, you're not going to be able to get results like this if you try to do it on your own. And you definitely would not have been able to even get this far if it weren't for AI. So let's use and embrace AI. That's what being AI first is. That's something that I'm a big advocate for, and I want you to be an advocate for it and understand it as well. Okay, so here's your GA4 events. All these things are in place, and guess what? We're mapping it all out. We're mapping everything out with this template provided by MeasureU, and you're doing awesome. You're not getting stuck. Every time you get stuck, you just have AI progress you along. This is what we call prompting. This is what we call building on top of what we're doing. And this is what we call your secret to success, your competitive edge, what's going to make you thrive in this marketplace. And so I hopefully understand how to create your strategy with AI. It's a combination of resources that we provide to you inside of our community, plus using things like ChatGPT to fill it out, plus then coming and talking to us live to make sure you're doing it right, cutting that time to implementation down by as much as 66%, by as much as 2/3 by doing it that way. And I can't wait to hear about your abilities to get this thing going. And don't even get me started. Probably another video about how to create dashboards with this data. There's a dashboard template available inside of MeasureU as well that is pretty incredible. And so if you get that in place, you can do pretty much anything. So let me see if I can find that dashboard. Yeah, so here's the dashboard toolkit available to you as well. You can create these amazing demo dashboards, or dashboards just like our demo, talking about how everything's happening on your site, giving you all of these awesome insights with what you're looking for and looking to do based on this demo dashboard. Okay, that's the GA4 one. I'm talking about the demo dashboard. This is our demo dashboard. This is the one that shows how to use it within our framework. So you can see, let's show you the eyes in the journey. So you've put the code in place for eyes in the journey because of what we generated there. Once that gets tracked, this will fill out and create this awesome dashboard that looks a lot like this. So this stuff is awesome. It's easier than ever to do if you consult AI first, but there's still some nuance to it. That's why our community exists. That's where we help you out. So make sure that you join, subscribe, and pay attention to what we're doing here at MeasureU.com and learn it, love it, and use it. And I can't wait to have you on one of our live calls answering your questions and having you show us how you've extended this dashboard so you have gotten stickier clients, more confidence, better results for everybody that's out there because you are doing measurement marketing. Because that is the difference between measurement marketing and marketing measurement. It takes a little bit longer to get started with measurement marketing, but you'll love the results. And not only that, it doesn't take that long to get started when you can consult AI as your AI first way of doing things. Now I'm going to wrap this thing up by saying, are you making AI first decisions? And do you want to learn more about what AI first means? Because if you do, we do a AI First challenge over at our Profit School brand by MeasureU. If you go to profitschool.com/AI First, you can check out what we're doing there, and you can sign up to join our next one. The last workshop we did, it's sold out. So I was going to send you a link to a live workshop we were doing, but it's already sold out. But if you go to this page, you can see when the next one's coming up and be the person who joins the next one. And I would love to have you there. I'd love to help you become AI first with your business. And that concludes this workshop Wednesday. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel for more tips and tricks and understanding of what's going on. And I can't wait to hear about your successes inside of the MeasureU community.